Do you love food? Do you find yourself searching for the freshest ingredients and best way to prepare a dish? Well, some might call you a foodie. I'm a classically trained chef. I have my own cooking show, and when it comes to food, I feel the same way. Today, we're gonna learn all about lobsters. I'm Liz Bramwell, and this is The Foodie. So we're here in Maine at the Ogunquit Lobster Pound, where Bill and his family have been serving lobster since 1931. Come on, let's take a look around. So as far as this area goes, what are we standing in front of?
This is what is known as the pound, right?
This is the pound.
This is the pound. This is where we keep them. It's
like a dog pound,
like
but it's
dog.
for lobsters?
Exactly. Very much. What makes this so good is the way we keep it. It's an entirely self-contained system with biofilter. It's temperature controlled. But we also have the ability to put fresh water in it all the time. So that they're very well kept and healthy.
Are they happy?
As far as I know.
So I noticed when I'm just dipping my hand in here, hopefully the residents are okay with that. The water is very cold.
It is.
What's the temperature and why keep it that cold?
Well, we keep it at 50 degrees at all times. We used to keep it colder than that, but they tend to get a little too dormant. But 50 degrees is a nice temperature, and just the right amount of oxygen at all times. So they just live better.
So they're just healthier in this environment.
Exactly.
Between the level of oxygen, water temperature, the caring landlord, etc.
Right. Just some good nights.
So you originally said this used to be kind of a takeout style where people came up, they ordered, they sat, they took care of themselves. Now, people arrive, they come up, they look at the tank, they go in the restaurant, they pick their own lobsters. Tell me the process.
Well, in the old days when we were self-service, it was very easy.
Yep.
Once we started doing wait service and we got so big, it became a little bit of a challenge. So now we get people to sit down first.
Yep.
Talk to their waiters so everybody knows they're on the same footing.
Yep.
And then they come out here with their table number, which we take and pick out their lobsters for them.
Yep.
And each order goes in its own separate bag.
Yep.
Then we go over this way,
Okay.
and we take a number.
I was looking at these. They're like dog tags almost.
We call them lobster tags.
Lobster tags.
Of course, no.
It's a resident tag.
We put this with the table number on the bag.
Yep.
Into the pot. That's what each individual thing is a ring. Is for each order. So we throw that in and put the tag on, and then we have someone that keeps track of all of it.
So someone associates the table number with the tag number, so you get the exact lobster that you picked out of the tank.
Exactly. And which is the most important thing.
I was just going to say that. Because there's definitely some little kids who are like, are you sure this one's mine?
Actually, there's some adults that say that.
Really?
Yes.
Always an adult.
You'd
isn't
be
it?
amazed.
All right, so we're standing here in front of these pots. One is quite large. The other one is just slightly smaller. They're both at a rolling boil at this point.
Right.
What's the difference between the two?
Okay, well, we cook the lobsters in this one.
So lobster is big.
Right, and we do this in this one, and the reason is we cook them in seawater. It's the water that comes right out of the tank. And I like to tell people that after you've started cooking for a while, you're actually cooking in lobster juice. You're not cooking in seawater. It's a lovely combination. It's really fantastic.
Sounds good. All right, so you have to tell me, and I know there's a size variance, setting that aside. How long do we cook lobsters, and how long are we cooking the soft shells?
Okay, we cook all our lobsters 25 minutes.
And you find that to be the perfect timing.
And that actually works for all sizes. You could talk to 10 people and get 20 different times you should cook a lobster.
Of course.
But that's something that we've sort of, all the time we've done this, find that really works and works well. And when you boil a lobster, it's very, very difficult to overcook.
Yes.
And you don't want to get it undercooked.
So, 25 minutes after they come up and out. What happens after that? I did see some guys processing here. Tell me.
Okay, what we do is, we're probably the only place that does this that I know of.
Yep.
Bring them over here. We have two guys with two different knives.
Yep.
The first one takes the body,
Okay.
cuts it in half,
Yep.
and takes the stomach out.
Perfect.
Which is something you would never want to eat anyway.
Correct.
And over here, this is the skill position, because this is something you have to learn. We crack the claws, we get every knuckle and the main claw so that you don't need nutcrackers. And the reason is nutcrackers are for nuts, not for lobsters.
That is true.
You knew that. But
I did not know that.
and then every order goes on the tray with the
Perfect.
lobsters, and then the table number that the customer came out with
Yep.
goes on the tray.
Yep.
And gets taken into them.
So you just have like a food runner bring it in.
Right. That's just eliminates mistakes. They know exactly where they're going. You
It's
know.
always perfect.
And we keep track of sizes for people so everybody gets what they want.
Yep.
That sort of thing.
Fantastic.
Do you know the difference between a male and a female?
So I think I do. However, I'm gonna have you clarify just in case. So let me grab one. Come here, you little sucker. All right. So
That one is a female. And the reason is females generally have smaller claws and a
Yep.
broader tail. As
broader
opposed to
tail for, I'm assuming, eggs.
Holding the eggs when you carry them.
Reproduction, because we need eggs.
Right.
And then
Underneath. Right. It does not have what the male has.
stiff.
Here's a good example of a male though, when the claws get
Oh my
really
god,
big. See how much bigger those claws
they're
are?
huge.
Yeah.
Okay, how much do you think this weighs?
Let me try it.
Okay.
A little over 4 pounds.
It's a little over 4, 4.2, 4.3,
I can't get that. It's 4 1/4, 4.6.
4.6. That's pretty close.
The bigger they are, the harder they are to guess.
Yeah, just
Me-
because.
For me at least.
Now, do you prefer a younger lobster or an older lobster for eating?
We tell everybody, and I believe this, size has nothing to do with taste or tenderness.
My uncle used to say that.
It just absolutely doesn't. The bigger ones are just as good as the smaller ones. It's more about how much you want to eat.
Right. So tomorrow my plan is this. Going out of Perkins Cove with Josh and we are lobstering. Any advice for me?
Get up early, go to bed early, and you're going to have a lot of fun.
Hey guys, when we come back, we're going out of Perkins Cove to go lobstering. Welcome back, guys. We're in Perkins Cove with my friend Josh, talking all about lobsters. I know this is a random question to ask, but on average, how many lobsters do you usually find in a trap? Like, how much will that feed? Will it all come in?
You get if you're really doing bad, you get like 1 or 2 a trap.
Yep.
And you got profits here. So
Or
you got
zero?
Yeah, 0 blanks. That happens a lot in the spring, is hauling blanks.
Ooh,
So this one
eggies.
has eggs.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have a V.
So,
So we're gonna
what do
take
we do?
we're gonna take this
Yep.
and pull it through.
Perfect.
It gives it a V, toss it back on its top side so the eggs don't flake off. This one's good. This is kind of an example where, see how it's kind of turned differently? That's
Yeah.
like it was feed at one time, not breeding anymore. So now you can keep it.
How old are they usually, or does it really just depend on size?
7, 8 years to become legal. So in a way, I've been told, University of Maine, Orono does a bunch of research on lobsters. We only catch 10% of what go in.
Okay.
So in a way, we're like keeping it going,
Yeah. So what is this tool called that you're using?
This is a measure. The back of the eye socket, 3 1/4 inches.
Yep.
And then if we get a big one, it'll be 5 inches. So it's got to be in between the eye socket and the back.
Awesome.
So hopefully we can find a big one to show you. You remember how to measure?
I don't know how to measure, so
Okay.
show me. So from
Back
the
of
eye socket.
Yep.
All right, so show me where it's supposed to end.
So stay right on the back.
Okay.
That's good.
Awesome. Okay, so that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So it goes in the eye socket, right?
Yep. No,
Just like
so
that?
hold it like underneath. Yep,
Here?
back of the eye socket and make it like a straight line. Well, that's a great example.
Not?
What?
Not?
Yeah, that's good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So what is each part? Explain the strap to me and the function of the little bits.
Okay. Lobsters come in here. They feed on the bait. We call this the kitchen. This is back of the trap. They work their way this way. After they feed and move on, they have a harder chance of getting out. And the events here. So you have all the sublegals and short lobsters, maybe fish and crabs can get their way out of there when they know they're stuck.
Is that also how they get in?
No, they'll typically just be going out of there. They don't want to come. They only want to come to the front because that's where all the bait will be. So this, see how it's different?
Yeah.
This lost its claw at one time and grew it back. They can grow back anything on their body.
It's too bad humans can't do
Yeah,
that.
I know. Well, that's. Yeah, the University of Maine's been seeing. They've been trying to figure that out. Lobsters grow good back. Why can't we grow our legs back or go back certain things? I mean,
I wonder
legs or
why.
anything on their body that can grow back. Go ahead.
That side?
Go ahead.
Watch out. We're here in Perkins Cove in Ogunquit, Maine, talking all about lobsters, so don't go away. Welcome back, guys. I'm here with Josh. We're talking all about lobsters in Perkins Cove.
That's a crab. That's a Jonas crab.
Okay.
Those hard to get bit by.
Come on, friend. I'll take your finger right off.
Here's a little guy. He's probably like
Look at how tiny.
3 years old.
So little. It's a souvenir. It's a booby prize. Thoughts?
That's hard shell there. See how it's black on the back of the claws?
Yeah.
That's from it all scraping on the rocks.
Interesting.
That's a better example there. See how black it is on the back
Yeah.
of the claws? Probably have a soft shell in there.
Oh yeah, so what's up with the coloring?
It's
Is
random.
that just what they eat? Or is that like a genetic defect?
Yeah, it's nothing to do with what they eat as far as I know. But I've caught a blue one before. I've caught quite a few calicos, which is like the yellow, orangey ones. Those are probably the most popular ones. to
Yep.
catch.
What is that tool called?
Bander.
It's a what?
Just a bander.
A bander. So, you know, like the measuring tool is a measuring tool and the bander is a bander.
Exactly. Simple folk.
Do you have any good recipes on cooking lobster?
I do, I have plenty of them. Actually, I just taught a cooking class on Wednesday. I did a sweet corn and ricotta stuffed ravioli, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, chive, egg, simple, and then tossed it with fresh picked lobster, tomato, and some grilled corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So what's the largest lobster you've caught?
This is a 3-foot trap. We've had one that's been pretty much the whole length, maybe minus a couple meshes. So I don't know, I'd probably say it weighed. I've seen that like a 15 or 16 pound lobster from Canada before, and it was typically around that size. So I would say something around that size.
That is it.
And it fit in one of these traps, you know. So they really worked their way in there to get something to eat.
Once we get back, where do the lobsters go? What happens to the lobsters?
We're gonna put them in a crate, and then we're gonna bring them to the market.
Yep.
The buyer's gonna take them, and then they'll distribute them to the restaurants, and then some will end up, and they go to Lobster Pound, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy them.
We shall.
Want to step?
You gotta show me what's up.
Just drive. Don't worry about this stuff. Sorry.
Okay. Just this?
Yeah.
Got it.
Don't worry about this.
This is very exciting. I'm gonna try not to take out any buoys.
Yeah,
Oh, this is tough. take out anyone's lines or anything like that. Thank you. All right. So when this goes to market, how many pounds do you think are in here?
Probably around 60 pounds. Bring it to market, and then they'll distribute to the restaurants. And maybe end up with a Ogunquit Lobster Pound.
Now, speaking of getting paid by the pound, what's the approximate price today?
Around $5.
That's not bad. How low or high have you seen it fluctuate this year so far?
It's pretty much been around $5. In the spring, it's been a little bit higher. Less to catch in the spring, so it all equals out.
So you're buying beers later?
Maybe chip it.
Coming up next, we'll be back in the studio cooking up lobsters. Hey guys, welcome back. We're here inside the studio kitchen where I host my live cooking show every week. And now we have the opportunity to go through some of my favorite lobster dishes. Starting with this lobster pie, topped with corn, caramelized onion, and finished in our wood-fired oven. Next to that is our house-made lobster ravioli, served with juicy shrimp and roasted tomato. Here we have a lobster cocktail, and we serve ours with a lemon wedge, Dimitri's cocktail sauce, and in a martini glass. And right here, one of my favorite entrees is a lobster stuffed haddock, served with a Yukon Gold potato puree and sauteed seasonal veg. To my right, the king of them all, classic steamed lobster, served with lemon and drawn butter. And finally, one of my favorites, especially for this time of year, a classic lobster bisque. All right, so now that we've had the opportunity to talk about a whole bunch of my favorite lobster dishes, we're gonna put one together. Now I am using a ring mold, and we are starting with a plate garnished with a little balsamic reduction on the bottom. Now, we're gonna take our romaine that is shaved relatively thin and add a little bit of citrus vinaigrette to that, and then just give it a quick toss. Now we're gonna be placing this into the bottom of the ring mold, and do your best to keep the ring mold from moving. And this is gonna act as our base. Now that our romaine is in the bottom, we're gonna go ahead and add our tomato slices. I have 3 nice slices of tomato here, covering as much surface area as possible, all right? And creating a nice little deck, a little bridge there for our remaining ingredients to sit on. The next ingredient we're putting in is slices of avocado. This avocado is absolutely beautiful, going around the edge first. And then filling in the center with our remaining slices. Now that the avocado is in, we're gonna add our eggs. And I have 2 hard-boiled eggs that have been quartered, leaving the yolks intact, just kind of following around the edge. You may not need all of it. We're gonna add as much as we can, just like so. Last item before we top with the main event is going to be some applewood smoked bacon that I've just gone ahead and kind of chopped up to be pressed into this salad. All right, last piece. We're gonna give this a little press here. Just gonna use the back of my fingers. Okay, just like so. And then finally, the main event, our lobster. So I have plenty of freshly chopped lobster here. Just gonna start by piling it in the center and kind of working it out to the sides, okay? Just like so, applying a little pressure. I have 2 very nice claws that we're gonna put right over the top here to garnish. And then we're going to finish with a little bit of wakame seaweed, wakame salad. Okay. Some microgreens on top of that. Beautiful. And then a little bit of cracked black pepper around the edge of the dish. And we're gonna take our ring mold off. Look at that. So I had a blast at Perkins Cove with Josh and Chip and a fantastic time at the Ogunquit Lobster Pound with Bill Hancock. Join me each week as we visit my favorite suppliers, vendors, and chefs around New England. I'm Liz Bramwell, and this is The Foodie. I'm Liz Bramwell, and this is The Foodie.
Yes.